what just rolled into my shop today? This is a pristine 1975 450 SEL. The owner's a friend of mine, and she called me up and said, hey, my car won't start. She's like, crank, it won't start. And she asked me if I'd just take a look at it. I said, okay, bring it in. I can't promise, that I can fix everything because this car is 50 years old. So even if you get it running, you cannot tell the customer, oh, I'll get it running for you and everything will be fine. Okay, that just doesn't happen with 50-year-old cars, particularly D-Jetronic fuel-injected Mercedes. And yes, this is a D-Jetronic, last year of the electronic fuel injection. So right away I said, okay, there's probably something wrong with the D-Jet. Well, we got it in here and the truck lowered into position. I was thinking, man, let's see if it starts. And I cranked and nothing was happening. I went back to the back end of the car, got underneath it, told the owner to turn the key over. I looked at the pump. I wanted to see if the pump was running, and it started right up. And I go, hey, I fixed this car for you in 15 seconds. I knew, well, that's probably not going to last. You ever had that situation where you fix something and you say, well, that's probably not going to last? Well, that was the case here. So we went back out, started up to drive it into the shop, and it wouldn't start. Crank. And she told me her husband had poured fuel into the intake and it would fire, but it wouldn't keep running. So I'm thinking, okay, what's wrong? This is where you start that critical thinking, all right? I'm looking at the fuel gauge, and it's showing about almost half a tank. So fuel shouldn't be a problem, all right? I come back here, open the gas door. You always want to check. You want to make sure it's gasoline. And I open the door, and I smell it. I said, well, the fuel smells a little old. The car had been sitting for about a year, and I said, wow, what could it be? And this is the lesson I want to share with you. Never assume anything when you're troubleshooting. I started thinking, well, just a minute here. It started and then quit, and now it won't start again. Totally acts like it's out of gas. And I said, well, it couldn't be out of gas because it's showing half a tank. Okay, so we get under the car, and we're looking at the fuel injection delivery system, checking the hoses, and there's wetness around one of the hoses. And I'm thinking, okay, I know what's wrong. This thing sat for a year, and all the fuel in it leaked out, but the fuel gauge stuck. So guess what? Put a gallon of fuel in there, and it just fired right up. So I thought, by coming in here and dumping 2 gallons of new fuel in here and having the engine start right up, that I'd solve the problem, right? Not so fast. So the first suspect is these old original fuel pumps. They tend to leak. The O-rings here leak, and they're very hard to repair. Well, we looked at the pump, and I'm looking for staining, and that didn't look like a problem. I'm looking up here at this braided hose. This outlet hose is real suspect, and it's old. Probably needs to be replaced. But look at this lower hose from the damper into the pump. That hose has been replaced. And look at this. I'm feeling a loose clamp, and sure enough, the wetness right here, this is where it was leaking. Probably just a little bit at a time. You can see the fuel's starting to run out there. See the wetness? The clamp has loosened up. So we're going to have to do some work here. I'm going to replace all these rubber hoses in the back end of this fuel delivery system. I want to show you quickly, how do you determine if the pump is running or not? Because a lot of people think that you just turn the key on, the pump's going to run, and you'll turn the key on, go back, you'll listen, and the pump's not working. Well, that's not the way it works on these Mercedes pumps. It's only going to run for about 1 second. So you have to be very close to the pump. They're quiet. You're going to have somebody else in the car turn the key. So I'm going to have him turn the key, and we should hear the pump run. Go ahead and turn the key. What? Oh, no. Remember what I said earlier about never assume anything? Well, never assume that when you find one problem that you've solved the whole problem, particularly on cars this old. So we have a problem here. The pump is intermittent, and we need to determine why. I decided before lowering the car, I at least want to tighten up this clamp so it doesn't keep dripping on the floor. You can see the drip is very slight. And I got the screwdriver out, and I go, oh no, look at this. This clamp is shot. It won't even tighten up. Okay, we're going to add that to the list. So coming up front, we're going to try to figure out why that fuel pump is not working. We opened up the fuse box, we looked at the fuses, we swapped out the relay, and let's check again. Oh, typical sound of no fuel. So it looks like not only do we have a fuel leak, but we have an intermittent electric fuel pump that can literally drive you crazy trying to isolate the problem. So I want to share with you what I'm going to do before I replace that pump. I'm going to get back here with a 12-volt power source, and I'm going to power the pump directly. You always want to do that before you assume that it's just the fuel pump. You can see I pulled off the air filter housing, and that's primarily to check these fuel hoses. Almost all the time I find these D-Jetronic engines have aged or rotten fuel hoses, and so is the case here. And that's a fire hazard waiting to happen. So we have to put that on the list as well. We're going to have to change all these fuel hoses in the engine compartment. But, and this is a big but, when we started the engine, there's a rattle. And it sounds like a chain rattle. And what I'm worried about is a possibility that the tensioner has failed. So we're going to pull the valve cover and see what's going on inside. We're ready to pull the valve cover, just held on by 4 bolts. Take and put some towels back there in that corner because it's going to leak and get on the exhaust manifold. We're going to wiggle and lift this thing off and see what's going on with the timing chain and the oilers. Well, that looks good. Look at how clean it is inside. You don't have a lot of sludge. Cam looks good. But look at that. Oh my word. We have a very sloppy chain, and that's what's making noise. This engine is not going to run again until this is fixed. We know we're going to have to replace the fuel pump. We know we're going to have to replace all these rubber hoses. And I'm thinking it's probably a pretty good idea to change these old fuel injectors because I've seen engines ruined by these overfueling and literally wearing out the piston rings because they're flooding the cylinder walls. The big issue here is this chain. Look at this. This was the rattle that we heard with the engine idling. And I thought initially it was probably just a tensioner, but I'm coming over here on this other side, and look at how loose this chain is. So I think we have a replacement chain that's going to be required. We're going to change these guide rails because they'll break if we don't. And once again, these oiler tube clips, look at this. It just comes off. And what happens when this falls off, and I've seen this happen before, when this falls off with the engine running, you're not getting oil to the cam lobes, and that's where the oil comes from. There's little holes in this tube. So you'll pull a valve cover off, you'll see a whole bunch of scoring on these cam lobes because they've not been properly oiled. I saw one engine actually seize up the camshaft and cause the engine to quit because this tube fell off. So we have another example of what you have to do when you want to avoid catastrophic V8 engine failure on these older V8s.